We don't know why that man did what he did. We don't know how to deal with people who were hurting in the way this man was hurting. Hurt people hurt people. What happened was horrible. No one mentioned the word race, white, black, or anything except him.
Really, over the weekend, Elon Musk, Charlie Kirk, other Trump-aligned figures succeeded in making this senseless death a symbol of big city crime. And it's being used, as you said, Brianna, as a political symbol, with MAGA media calling for more forceful punishments and more incarceration. I have to say, some of the replies to Musk, some of the comments around this story are baldly racist, stoking fear of African Americans because this man attacked a white woman. The open racism on sites like X today, it's eye-popping.
We have a right to violence. All oppressed people have a right to violence. And I'm going to tell you something. It's like the right to pee. You got to have the right place. You got to have the right time. You got to have the appropriate situation. And I'm absolutely convinced that this is it.
These changes to the system took place because they're connected to data that shows no relationship between cashless bail and crime, and many other states have followed suit.
In which a shooting like this happens.
Yeah, and again, I emphasize what you just emphasized. We don't know any of the full details of this. That we don't know if this was a supporter shooting their gun off in celebration, or so we have no idea about. But following up what was just said, he's been one of the most divisive, especially divisive younger figures in this, who is constantly sort of pushing this sort of hate speech or sort of aimed at certain groups. And I always go back to hateful thoughts lead to hateful words, which then lead to hateful actions.
After one of the Doge employees was allegedly attacked in Washington, D.C., that's what Donald Trump used as justification to send in federal troops into Washington, D.C. to get things under control. The carjacking situation, he used that. And I know it's hard to predict the future, Mark, but you can imagine the administration using this as a justification for something.
And I think there are people who are fomenting it in this country. I think the president's rhetoric often foments it. We've seen the January 6th rioters who clearly, have tripped a new era of political violence.
Ladies and gentlemen, now it's Too Late with Alan Mosley.
Boy, what's the phrase people always say? You think you hate the media, but you don't hate them enough. My goodness. This is going to be a different type of It's Too Late community live stream, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to hope to have some good, thoughtful, responsible community engagement tonight. I know some people shared their thoughts with me ahead of the show, and I'm gonna share those as well as we kind of talk through it. I'm not going to read off the names just in case those people don't want me to share their names with their words. But this was supposed to be a regular, like, I guess 350, episode 357 or 8 was supposed to be tonight's episode. And we were going to talk about football, and then I was like, oh, hey, look at football. And then Dave was going to hit the football button.
Yeah.
And it's a takeaway for the Colts defense.
And then that was going to happen. Yeah.
Andrew, I wish I could tell you what that dance is, but I am not familiar with that at all. Charles, what a way to start the game for this defense.
And that is so Cam.
What a way to start the game. What a way to start the season, whatever that was. So then we were going to have that, and then I was going to talk to Dave about the Bills, and Dave was going to try to say everything's going to be okay, and I was going to say, why are you doing this to yourself? It's going to be a whole thing. But then I was going to tell everybody, you guys won't believe who was on the front page of Mises Institute's website, Mises.org, this week. Look at that. Whose article is who? Oh,
That's your name.
That's my name. Well,
That guy has the same name as you.
yeah, guys. Yeah, no, what a plagiarist. I wrote that, and then they stole it, put it up there. No, they didn't do that. They published it, which was very kind of them. But and then it was going to be about H.L. Mencken. So I have another essay set to be published on Friday. That was going to be about H.L. Mencken, and we were going to talk about Mencken. Maybe we still will talk about Mencken a little bit if we have time, because you know what, he had some fire ass quotes that that might be a bit relevant to this evening. I don't know. And of course, I would say, the number one producer in late night, it's Dave Willimowski, and then Dave would say, "Hi guys," and then he would say something totally innocent like, "I'm enjoying the weather. How about you?" And then I would call him just gay. And it would just be a whole, yeah.
Everybody had a good time.
Couple of quick updates before we get into it. We have made contact. Ryan, I hope you're here. We have made contact with Uncle Mike's Bake Shop, and a deal has been struck. The process, the gears are turning. Process is in motion. And it looks like next week this time, Dave and I will both succumb to diabetic shock and die.
I actually kind of worried about that for a little bit last night. I was looking for something to worry about, and I'm like,
yeah.
Oh,
is there
something really goes wrong?
Is there anything that you can consume prior to it that like absorbs the poison? Like, can you eat like coal or something and then it absorbs it, and then you just you know what I mean? I don't know. We'll have to look into that. I am doing the caramel apple, and Dave, you're doing the which one?
I was thinking the turtle one, but now I'm going towards that. They have that. What was that, salted caramel pecan? That was another favorite. And
an award winner, allegedly, according to Mr. Nathan. The co-owner of the business got back to us and said, no. You tell Dave that this is the award winner. And then Dave, he had already forgotten what his initial choice was. Don't even remember. Yeah. It's like, yeah, give me that.
I'm sold.
So we have to finish the fundraiser. Yeah, it's pecan, says Lyle. It's not pecan, it's pecan. It's the here we go. Lyle, he's going to start saying Tacobal, and I'm going to get all mad. Just stop it. just stop it, y'all. But so we have to finish that fundraiser if Aaron's got the links. Because me and Dave don't hurt ourselves for free. You know what they say? If you're good at something,
get paid to do it.
It's like I don't even have a sidekick on the show. If you're good at something, don't do it for free.
That's what it is. Okay.
Me and Dave are super good at hurting ourselves. So
I just did earlier today.
Oh, maybe we'll have time for story time with Uncle Dave too.
Oh.
And one last bit before we dive in. I know we're already 12 minutes and the show's ridiculous. You know what I forgot to mention last week?
What's that?
September 1st has already come and gone, because last week's show was on the 3rd. September 1st was our 8-year anniversary.
No shit.
8 years. I've been doing this for 8 years. You haven't been doing it for all 8, but you're now over 50% of the shows. Yeah, isn't that wild?
What's wrong with this?
I don't think we can, Carl, but we would still use them. We'd use them on something wild. So anyway, while you guys sort out that Kringle business, it's time for us 8 years in the Jesus. Y'all shouldn't be saying stuff like "hell yeah, Jonathan." Y'all should be saying things like, "Guys, come on."
Yeah.
You know,
haven't you taken this far enough?
Yeah, we miss you. You know, come home.
Your family misses you.
Yeah. So we don't have time for any of that tonight. That was it. That was the show. But instead, we're going to talk about recent news. So there was the and Dave, get ready. I'm actually going to skip a button and then come back to one, so I don't want you to be freaked out. We were going to talk about Iryna Zarutska, the Ukrainian lady who was stabbed to death in North Carolina this past week. And just by the way, quick programming note for everybody: if you're one of these people that really needs to see graphic footage or pictures, for one, the internet's got a lot of it, but you're not going to get it here. So just this isn't where it's going to be. By the way, I'm not the kind of person who says that stuff should be like deleted or banned, because I think people need to know what's going on, and it doesn't need to be sugar coated. You know what I mean? Yeah. So we're not going to be sharing that stuff. And so we were going to talk about that, and we will. And then there was the news today about Charlie Kirk, the Turning Point USA guy, which that's the picture we're going with for him. Once again, if you haven't seen the video, then if you don't want to see it, I suggest you don't go looking for it. If you have seen it, you know what happened. I know that reports were crazy during the afternoon today, and they finally announced that he had died. But if you saw the shooting, you know he was dead. It was not good. By the way, oh, that's terrible. I'm sorry to hear that. I want to say really quick, so that I don't forget, because I didn't write a bunch of notes down because I'm stupid. I just figured this would be a stream of consciousness. But just really quick, take it, just like give me another 5 seconds of that picture right there of Kirk. So that's his legacy, by the way. His legacy is not owning the libs or debating college kids or none of that. That's his legacy right there. So that's what makes today sad, even if he held opinions that you don't agree with. That is irrelevant to that family right there. So anyway, I thought that what might be a structured way for us to kind of talk it out is, for one, I want to talk to you guys, and I want you guys to talk back. My eyesight is going big time, and I can't see anything, but Dave's going to help me out because he's got his readers. So we see your live chat, and we're going to engage with you guys more than we do on a normal It's Too Late episode, because to be honest, like, that whole show's written and I just ignore you crazy people because, you know, like, people like Ryan are arguing with the epidemiologist. So I'm something of an epidemiologist myself. So normally I just tune you guys out, but we're going to do the opposite tonight, and we're going to talk. But I thought that to keep this structured, that we should have a theme. And the theme for tonight's conversation is what should be done. Now, what I mean by that, to be specific, is like, if me and Dave are talking about this, I would say to Dave, like, let's pretend for a moment that I'm the Emperor of America, and I just named you the crime czar. So you're now in charge of coming up with some policy, some ideas, whatever you might be thinking to make this past week not happen next week. That's it. That's your goal. And I know that there's racial elements in this thing, and there's political elements in this thing, and all that and all that. And we'll get into all of it if that's what people want to talk about. But starting it off there, maybe we can get the juices flowing for chat. If I say to you, Dave, I don't want to see another day like today. So what are we going to do? What should be done? What do you have any ideas? And I just want to preface this really quick by saying we're not going to be entertaining anyone that chat that wants to round all up, because we're not doing that. And it's not practical. It's just not going to happen. If you're a Boogaloo boy, something that I think you should consider is you might lose.
Might.
If the Boogaloo happens and your side loses, that could be bad for you and your loved ones.
Yeah.
So we're not doing boogaloo stuff. I want legitimate policy ideas or cultural ideas or whatever on, so that we don't have a repeat of today. Do you have any just off the cuff ideas?
The only thing that popped in my head, because I didn't watch any of the videos, but I kind of got the gist of what happened with that girl, was somebody murdered her. There's videotape of it, and there's evidently a lot of witnesses. So I think that should be a public execution, since it was a public murder. Like, I think it'll help deter if everybody sees it, and maybe like old school, not nothing simple like, injection or chair or anything. Like
I guess we'll start off with Iryna then, since that's the one that you mentioned. The thing that's tough about the tough on crime people is you need to be specific about what we should be doing that we're not currently doing. Because you know how when, like, say there's a mass shooting and then all the leftists come out and say, well, we need to ban guns. Yeah. And so for one, we know that that's ridiculous. But also you could say that, well, we already have laws against mowing down crowds of people with a gun.
You're not supposed to do that. So
another law then may not get the job done is what I'm saying. Yeah. So then in the case of Iryna, so you're not actually supposed to stab women in the neck.
That's against the law.
That's against the law. So at a minimum, we have to look at how the law is being applied at a minimum, because murder's already bad. So then it becomes, well, how are we applying the law? Because in Homeboy's case, he was already a multiple time offender. He's got a rap sheet him all along. He's obviously free and out on the street because he's able to commit yet another murder. I know a lot of people have talked about, the judge in the case had released him, and that's why I added that little clip in there about bail and cashless bail and stuff like that. So I would say, in response to what you said, that, well, we already have the laws for these offenses, but obviously the deterrent isn't there. And so you had said, well, you just publicly execute this guy. And I would say that, well, that's certainly a deterrent, but that'll fix that guy today. But we want to make sure this doesn't just keep happening, because it seems like so many times when these things happen, it's someone who's on the radar. You know, that old FBI thing, they were on our radar. It's like, okay, well, if they were on your radar, then they shouldn't have had the opportunity then, right, to do whatever it is that they did. So we need to be having a conversation about how these laws are being applied that we already have. And we need to have a conversation about what the authorities are actually doing about troublemakers. And I know that that's an uncomfortable discussion for some people in our audience, because this is, look, I'm more of an anarchist. I've kind of distanced myself from Lawberts in recent years because I feel like I don't have a problem calling myself a libertarian. It's the libertarians that are the problem. You know what I mean? Like I got it.
For everybody.
They're ruining it. Yeah. But there's a lot of people out there that have a natural distrust of authority, which is perfectly healthy to have. There's a lot of people out there that don't like the police as a whole institution. And that's perfectly fine to believe, because we know there's a lot of corruption and there's a lot of bad cops. But in these particular cases, like the one with Iryna, it was the whole justice system that failed, right? Like it was the DA and the judge and the whole justice system that conspired to allow this known violent piece of shit to just be riding the train that day when Iryna comes and sits down. So while it's perfectly fine to have skepticism of the institution of police and their monopoly on violence. And we've done shows about that, so don't quote bullshit to me. We already know. But the justice system has got issues, which is good. All right, so that brings us to our next point. Thank you so much, Aaron. And I've got your comment. We'll read it out here in a little bit. I've got some comments from people. We'll share them. Accountability across the entire justice system is needed. Thank you, Aaron. That's a fantastic point. When you hear all of this rumor mill stuff of, oh, this judge who just so happens to have the same amount of melanin in her skin as the dude, also is winning awards from like activist groups for like DEI Judge of the Year or whatever. And she also apparently runs like a home for like, you know, mental correctional stuff. And so she as a judge is sentencing people to that program, and she owns the facility that does that program. And then a person like dude then is like going through the system, and next thing you know, he's stabbing some girl in the neck. There seems to be some problems with the justice system. I think it's fair to say, you guys.
Sounds like it.
Something one of my old friends from here in town said earlier today, and I'm not going to name names because, again, I try not to do that unless people explicitly give me permission, is he made the point that only having a bird's eye view of the whole Iryna case is that it seems pretty open and closed, obviously, that he did it and that he shouldn't have been on the streets to begin with. But there's a point to be made that you're going to hear all these leftists talk about mental illness and people need to be taken care of. And dude from our cold open who's like, well, we don't know how he was hurting. I don't give a fuck how he was hurting. He just murdered someone. Right? So I feel like while there's a time and place to discuss the right way for the justice system to handle people with learning disabilities or mental illness or handicaps or whatever, this is not one of those cases. This is a danger to society. And maybe we're going to have to mutually all come to an agreement that if a person is a danger to society, then whether or not they're a complete psychopath or whether they're just mentally ill, that doesn't actually matter. They shouldn't be a member of society. Right?
Yeah.
Like,
now,
go ahead.
Didn't I see something that Trump's bringing back the asylums? Is that a thing? Did I see that?
Trump's
right?
not doing jack shit. Trump says lots of things. He's never going to do anything. Trump's too busy licking Israel's taint to worry about any of these issues. I mean, sorry.
Got more important things.
And I also want to say too, something that I want to impart is it's a fun mental exercise for us to discuss our ideas of how we think society could be restructured. But I want to make sure that I'm clear that I don't believe there's an electoral answer to this. I don't think that the way you vote in 2020, 2026, 2028, 2030, whatever, I don't think that's going to change any of this. I'm not saying that you shouldn't support candidates who are better than other candidates, but I don't feel like the answer is, well, if we just vote harder, then the justice system is magically going to work. So I don't want this to become like a big race thing, because I just don't. But
I didn't even know it was one until today.
But it's fine to be a noticer. I think it's perfectly fair. And you know what? Fucking clip me if you want. Make it viral, because I need some views. So that's fine. I think it's perfectly fair for parents to have honest conversations with their children about staying away from people who don't look and act like them, because they might be dangerous. if you want to interpret that as being racist or elitist, I'll be racist and alive while you are equality and dead.
You want to be around people that have the same morals and values as you.
Yes. Are we to sit here and pretend that the people in that video have the same morals and values as us? Is that what we're to do? I don't think so. It feels like this whole era that we're in as a society is just people flicking lit matches at the powder keg, just waiting to see what happens. And it's like, are we to just wait until one makes purchase, or is there something that we can do before that day? So Ryan kind of echoing a little bit there of what Aaron said, is that if there's no consequences for prosecutors, there's prosecutorial misconduct. That's actually a topic we talked about on the show a few years ago with our friend Suzanne Sherman. And one of the things that was a part of that conversation is, you know what, that almost never happens. It almost never happens. It actually moderately happens that prosecutors are found doing misconduct, but them actually being honest to God, arrested, put in front of a judge, tried, having at a minimum their licenses stripped away, and at a maximum being put in jail to rot themselves, that almost never happens. And even more so with judges. Oh, you think judges just get appointed and then they're there for life? Okay, no, they can be removed. They can be arrested for misconduct. They can be impeached. How about we just don't allow judges to just go on pursuing agendas? Are we to sit here and complain because some previous president that I don't like appointed some judge somewhere, and now that just means shoot. Now when I want to pursue positive changes, it's going to go to that judge and they're going to rule against me. Well, okay, well, how about we just remove them? And don't sit here and tell me it can't be done. It can be done. A lot of times the authorities are such spineless cowards that they're not willing to do what needs to be done. But that's all further from home. I really want to talk more about closer to home. Is that so? If you don't want this to be happening in your city, your town, what do you do? What should be done? I'm gonna read through a couple other things that people sent. So I already said that Aaron sent me a thing. So Aaron, unfortunately, your name is out there, but I don't think you care too much. Aaron had asked out loud for the gallery, what should be done to prepare in case this rise in violence makes it to where I live? I see a lot of people saying things like, well, you just got to be armed, bro. Stay strapped, get clapped. Always be carrying ABC, situational awareness, all this stuff. And it's not that I don't agree with those things in principle, right? But do we want to live in a society where that's necessary? Dave, do you want to live in a town where Mary has to be strapped every time she goes out for groceries because you just don't know what's going to happen? Is that where you want to live?
Yeah, it's kind of nice not to just have, mutual respect for each other without having to be visibly armed.
I see people jinxing each other in chat, saying we already do. We already do live there. I think for certain places we do. I would like to think that I don't have to I don't have to watch my corners and execute, each room in my hometown in order to survive. I'd like to think that. But there's a lot of crazy people out there. Yeah. Justin has a handgun, a spear, and 2 swords. Literally right now. Okay. I don't think he carries those everywhere he goes, but if he does, we're going to need a live stream on that. Yeah. live stream going to Piggly Wiggly and see how that goes. Do you think the topic of martial law will be brought up by the current administration after recent events? Oh God, yeah. Oh, they're totally going to do that. It's not going to like go anywhere. They're going to talk tough, but this is what they do. It's always this pendulum swing of terrible things happen, talk tough. I'm the toughest on crime, vote for me. And they may pass more laws. But as we've already discussed, we have laws that say you can't stab people in the throat until they die. So it's the application of the laws that's going to prevent those things from happening, not passing a new law. What I'm afraid would happen if everyone runs, particularly to the federal government, if everyone runs to the federal government and says, okay, well, we're in power, so let's fix this. You know what's going to happen there? 2 things. So first of all, they're just going to ban more stuff. And what does banning stuff do? Go look at the UK. Look at the United Kingdom. Okay, so now you can't have knives, and they can't have a point on top of you can't have weapons. Okay, all that did was ban those things for people who obey laws. We're having a problem with the people who aren't obeying the laws. That's the problem we're having. So I'm afraid that the government's only 2 things are going to happen. Is they're just going to look to ban more stuff, which doesn't help. Or then the next problem is that I would love to live in a world where I was the emperor and there's no elections. I just get to rule until I die. I'm not gonna have an election. But that's not the world we live in. We live in a world where there's elections, and your people are not always going to win. If you've got it figured out about how you're going to vote, you're just going to be able to vote in the right people this time and keep them there for a millennia. I wish you would have started before today. But we know you don't. No one does. And then those same tools are going to be used by your political enemies, and it's going to be shoved down your throat. That's what's going to happen. So that's not, I feel, the answer. I will say, just as a knee-jerk reaction, I'm open to discussing, again, it's how the laws are applied. I'm open to discussing penalties. Like when you see a headline, yeah, Ryan, I've only got like 17 days. Give me a goddamn break. When you see a headline like so-and-so, career criminal did such and such, then the obvious question is that how does one become a career criminal? How can your career be beyond 1 or 2 offenses and then you get to commit more? How does that happen? Maybe we need to figure that out. I would hate to hear, because you think of stuff like the war on drugs, right? Like you think of the college kid in Colorado who made pot brownies, and they adjudicate it based on the weight of the pot of brownies, and so he gets like life in prison. And you're like, well, there you go. That's the police state for you. Obviously, we don't want that, because that guy didn't assassinate Charlie Kirk or stab some woman to death on the train. But there are people that when they commit certain types of crimes, it should be, you're out of here. You don't belong here anymore. You're out. Does that mean that we just line them all up in front of the firing squad? I don't know. Does that mean life in prison for everyone who commits an offense above a certain like basic misdemeanor? I don't know. My gut instinct tells me that we don't want to fill up prisons, but we also don't want to let menaces to society out. So how do we square that circle then, right?
Yeah, there's not a lot of places to exile to anymore either.
Because I feel like if you're if you're a petty thief, and even that, we talk about restitution. If you're a petty thief, you should have to pay restitution to the people you stole from. If you, you run a stop sign and you hit somebody with your car, but everyone's okay, you're going to be liable for the damages and then some, because it's not just good enough to repair the car. You need to hurt for doing bad things. But if we're talking about serious violence, that's what we're talking about, serious violence, then I feel like we actually want to, we actually kind of want to empty the prisons. Because I feel like what we want is either life in prison, like you go to a labor camp because you can't be a part of society. You're a violent criminal, so you don't get to be a part of society. Or you get exiled, like we go old school and we're like, look, dude, sorry, bro, you're stabbing people. So you get to go to Australia like the old days, or death.
Yep.
And I know that there's religious people in the audience that doesn't quite sit right, because you don't feel that that's your place. That's not a decision you get to make. And I can respect that. But you still need to answer my question. If you feel like that's not an acceptable response to put on the list of answers, then you need to find something to fill that spot on the list of what we're going to do. Because what we're not going to do is pray about it and then hope everyone finds Jesus next week. That ain't going to do it. I don't care if homeboy from the train finds Jesus or not. He's done. Out of here.
Get him out of here.
Yeah, we're going to get him out of here. I ain't talking about getting his account suspended either. So let's talk about Charlie Kirk a little bit. Video is pretty brutal. And I don't have social media open right now, so if they've released the details on who they're claiming they've arrested, then I'm not seeing them right now. I don't really care. They had detained some old dude who was kind of acting little cuckoo earlier, but that they're saying that wasn't the guy. That was just a crazy person. Just a crazy person. What are you gonna do? Yeah. By the way, probably should still be removed from society, just FYI. Like when you run into a crazy person, and like we've all done that, right? Like even in a small town like where I live, they're like, oh, there's a crazy homeless person. I don't think that we should all say, sad, and then keep going. I think he should be removed from our town. I'm sorry. Because why do I have to wait until he rapes or kills somebody? Are you serious? He's clearly not fit to be a member of society. So we'll circle back to our list of how we're handling that later. But staying on the Charlie Kirk thing, they're claiming that they've apprehended someone, but I hadn't seen the details of that person. And of course, we know that the feds are just fucking liars. So I don't know if I trust who knows? We got a lot of trust issues. This is a low trust society that we find ourselves living in, and that applies both to the citizenry and to the government. So it's a tall hill to climb. I have never been a big fan of Charlie Kirk. I made a post about this earlier today, and a bunch of right-wing, my post was sympathetic to the right wing, and all of the hate mail was coming from right-wingers because their IQ is so low, they don't understand why they perennially lose to the left. Y'all are so fucking stupid. You have the reading comprehension of snails, and so this is why y'all are losing. I made a post saying that, look, I've never been a big fan of Charlie Kirk. I've been critical of him in the past. He was. I mean, there weren't many regime talking points he wasn't willing to parrot. Now, do I think that he was probably a decent person? Sure, had a nice family. Now, I will say that all he's ever advocated is debating people on the stage or in public. And I know some people have pointed out a couple of ironies today. That one, he was sitting underneath one of those like tents that you put up, and the tent said, "Prove me wrong." And then you see all these leftists. I'm getting mentally sidetracked. Let me go ahead and go there really quick. The internet is absolutely full to bursting with people who hate you and hate everything you love and stand for. It's full to bursting with people crying tears of joy, cheering on this guy's murder. We cannot share a country with those people. Can't do it. Now, no matter of us, me and Dave can't think out some policy decisions that are going to fix that. We can't share a country with those people. They honestly think that it's a real big own that because he got shot and killed, that's winning an argument. They're openly, it's like the mask is totally down. The pretenses have been dropped. They're saying that winning the argument is physical. We're not having a discussion. There's no debate. We're not gonna share what's that, the marketplace of ideas. We're not gonna share our philosophies with one another and then hold a popular vote, and then whoever's ideas win, they get to lead the town square. Those days are over. Now it's whoever physically eliminates the other wins. That's where we're at. Those people hate you. So I just asked rhetorically to the right-wing crowd, so now what? What are you going to do? They've showed you what they're willing to do. What are you going to do? A lot of little things bumbling around in my head. I do want to say, I'm afraid something that will happen as a result of this is that more colleges will actually ban speakers like Charlie Kirk. They'll actually ban more right-wing speakers because they'll say that the security costs are too high. They've played that card before, but they'll play it again now. They'll use this as the pretense to say, well, we're not going to allow dissident voices because there's threats, and since there's threats, it's too much cost and liability on us to provide security, we'll just ban their being able to speak, which is the exact wrong thing to do, because that's what evil wants, right? They're trying to silence Charlie Kirk, and so they do so in a very literal way. And if the university's response is to not have any more Charlie Kirks come speak at the campus, boy, they hit a gold mine. It's like, man, terrorism wins. Hell yeah. So no, any institution that answers today's violence with, well, we're not gonna provide a platform then anymore because it's scary, they should be shamed out of existence. So something our friend Soupy said was, first you need to get really good at being able to distinguish between friend and enemy. Then you need to figure out what your comfort level is with political discourse. And then third, you need to figure out what your level of comfort with violence is. And then you need to have the self-awareness to understand that there's a chance you might need to find a hole and stay out of it. I agree. Something I've talked about on the show on different days, talking about different, kind of in the old days when we used to do more episodes like this. I used to talk about the right of association, and we all know that right. That's part of the First Amendment and the right of association. But part of that is also the right of disassociation, right? When you say that it is a natural right endowed to you by your creator to say what you feel, to be secure in your home and property, to bear arms, and you have a right to associate. That also means you have a right to disassociate from elements you don't want. I think it was Jay Forte that had mentioned in the chat earlier, talking about the civil rights movement. And there's a place to have that conversation too. But for me, the whole conversation of civil rights and racial equality and all of that can be boiled down to the right of association and disassociation. We're sitting here living in a world where if you're a baker in Colorado, they had a school shooting in Colorado today. Did you know that?
Just because you told me. I didn't see anything about it.
Yeah, today wasn't even, people didn't even have a chance to breathe about today's news. They're like, oh, and there's also a bunch of kids who did. Oops. So, you know, if you're a baker in Colorado and Ryan's Troons show up and want you to bake their cake and you say no, you're going to fucking court, right? They're going to try to take everything you own. And they came to you for a reason, by the way, because you would think, like, if I thought Dave just hated me, then I wouldn't go to Dave asking him to bake the cake.
Yeah, you don't want anything I made.
No. but I wouldn't want. Why would I give you money? Yeah. Right? Why wouldn't I go give money to the baker who's like, hey, buddy, over here, don't let that guy. He's, you know.
Yeah. I'm an ally. One of them.
Yeah. Yes, weaponizing the justice system. That's right, Jay Forte. So those people seek out confrontation because they want to weaponize the justice system. They want to hurt people for having different points of view. But if we truly respected the right of disassociation, then that baker could say, hey, fuck off. And you would have every right to go out in the public square and be like, Dave won't make me any chili because he hates me because I ripped my own dick off and I'm ill and I love children. and then the public square may side with you and they may be like, you know, boo, Dave, help the pedos. They like chili too. But the public square may be like, hey, you know, we're going to get you out of here too while we're making the list. I bet Dave bakes a wonderful cake, says Lyle. Dave, you ever done a lot of baking?
I mean, I've made the box stuff, but now I've been wanting to get into bread. I've been feeling the urge.
Okay.
To bake some bread.
See, people want to get into bread, but nobody wants it. Just bake a cake. Everyone loves cake.
The bread is just for me.
Oh, okay. It's just okay.
Yeah.
I think so Derek says, I think part of the solution is free speech. People thinking speech is violence are the problem. Mm-hmm. I don't think any of those people actually think that. They're just trying to hurt you because it's a war and that's just a tactic. And they're trying, they're trying to get you fired. They're trying to destroy your life. What's that Sam Hyde quote? One of you right-wing extremists in chat could share the Sam Hyde quote of, you know, when we win, never forget. They want you dead and they want your children raped and brainwashed and they think it's funny. It's a great quote because they do think that. Absolutely. Lyle's just saying words now.
Yeah, sorry about that. I got the chat on a tangent again.
Something another one of our friends shared with me that I want to read for you. He said, for all the comments out in social media stating that this is going to be a turning point, no pun intended, where there is no more moderate right or that this will spark some civil war, no. People still misunderstand who and what the political right is. The pandemic didn't bring out a violent, radical, revolutionary right. This won't either. There were some trucker convoys, some angry honking. Some people milled around the halls of Congress when the doors were open and waved tiny flags. This is as upset as anyone can reasonably expect the right in America to get. So what happens next is people mourn the loss of a public figure, hunt for the killer or killers, and then move on with life. Does that mean I think there will be zero reprisals? Not necessarily. Crazy is always crazy. I think that's a valid criticism. I mean, we're sitting here on September 10th. Oh God, hashtag never forget tomorrow. Jesus, here we go.
What's tomorrow?
It's September 11th. It's tomorrow.
Makes sense.
Dave forgot, you guys. It's over. The terrorists have won. Yeah. But, you know, here we are only 5 years removed from 2020, and they came for you, right? They shut down your churches. Big Christian nationalists out there. They shut down your churches. They made your old folks die alone while you looked at them through some plastic, if you even got that. Then you didn't get to have a funeral. Then they told you have to take some shots or you lose your job. Where was the uprising? Were they marching the streets? Did they topple the government? Did they install a new regime and revert to the Articles of Confederation? No. Nope.
Nothing.
So why would we think that anything's going to happen this time? For what it's worth, I do think that we're moving in a concerning direction and that things may happen. But there is lots of recent evidence to suggest that they don't have the stomach for it. Well, of course, Ryan. I mean, the Confederates were right. We're going there eventually. Don't worry.
All roads lead to the South is objectively right.
It's because they just were. I mean, it's not even debatable. I did. Funny enough, I did want to share. So the H.L. Mencken article that we were going to base this episode on, and that he's in the thumbnail, and H.L. Mencken is just the best. There's so many great quotes. He has so many great quotes that it's like you want to include them all, but I'm trying to make the article like 1,500 words so that it'll get published, right? And not be a freaking expose. So I didn't share every single Mencken quote imaginable, but I did share several good ones. And so one of his quotes, he defined democracy as the theory that the common people know what they want and they deserve to get it good and hard.
That's my favorite.
That's your favorite?
Yeah.
So it's like the first one I put in here, Dave. So you'll like it.
Yeah.
The larger the mob, the harder the test. As democracy is perfected, the office represents more and more closely the inner soul of the people. On some great and glorious day, the plain folks of the land will reach their heart's desire at last, and the White House will be adorned by a downright moron.
Ta-da.
Yeah. He wasn't a big democracy guy, in case you didn't.
No.
But I want to go through a few more of these because it's going to be related to what we're talking about. He, in an essay titled Prejudice's Second Series, he talked about how people always look for a basic explanation. Like, what's that Occam's razor? The simplest explanation is probably the right one. So he wrote, in contrary to that, he said, always a well-known solution to every human problem that's neat, plausible, and wrong. Yeah.
Great.
I know. It's so good. Well, it's because I actually had read that when I thought of what tonight's theme would be, that maybe we listen to chat, maybe we talk about some of our ideas. And by the way, chat, for everyone who's still here, start answering the question that Dave tried to answer. I want some genuine, well-reasoned ideas, just a sentence or two. We'll read them if they're not insane, of what you think are some good ideas so that next week's not like this week. And I loved that quote because there's going to be so many right-wing influencers of all stripes that are going to say, well, all we need to do is this. Like, what did the boomers say? We just got to get back to the Constitution. It's like, well, okay, but just in case that doesn't work, do you have any other ideas? And then it led me to this one, in a notebook, a collection called Minority Report. That's his collection, by the way. That's not the Tom Cruise movie. It's actually a collection by H.L. Mencken. Is one of my it's not my absolute favorite, but it's one of my favorites. The urge to save humanity is almost always only a false face for the urge to rule it. Mm-hmm. And that quote was bouncing around my head too as I thought about this subject, because I thought I know there's a lot of people out there who base their content on wanting to have a great man, the great strong man who's going to ride in and it's going to fix things. Mm-hmm. And of course, their premise is that he fixes things in a way they agree with, right? Okay, but what if he starts doing things you don't agree with? Because what if that savior was only doing those things because he wants to rule you? We've seen this play out. I'm not necessarily saying that that's not what we need. I'm just saying, choose wisely. Choose me. I got it. I just want 1 cent from everybody. We talked about this. Just get 1 cent, and I'm going to be on my elevated road and my intranet with only me on it. I'll get off my bandwidth. This is my favorite Mencken quote. It's actually the quote that I have. I wrote a book. It's not been published yet. I wrote a book. It's ridiculous. A couple of the essays that I've had published are a part of my book. Y'all just don't know that. There's people out there that are going to be like, well, I saw the articles. Now I don't have to buy the book. Dude, fuck you.
Buy the book. Just buy the book.
Just buy the book. You know what? I'm not even going to wait. I think I'm just going to publish it this week. Fuck you, Dave.
Buy it.
Doing it.
Everybody buy it. Damn book.
This was from... believe it or not, this was from an essay in 1919 that he was just doing a review. This is the kind of guy H.L. Mencken was, is that he's just doing a review of somebody else's poems, and then he drops this fucking banger in the review that nobody read. This is my favorite, and this is actually the quote at the front of my book. Every normal man must be tempted at times to spit on his hands, hoist the black flag, and begin slitting throats.
Yo ho ho.
Yeah. By the way, this actually wasn't in my notes, but I'm going to read this just for Ryan, since he mentioned the Confederacy. I asked our friend Dave Benner, historian Dave Benner, who's been a guest on this show a number of times. I said, hey, Dave, I've got a Mencken piece coming out next week. Give me a quote. What's your favorite quote? I'm going to put it in there. No context. I'm just going to say, historian Dave Benner said this. And he did, and I did. At the end of the essay, it says, I asked historian Dave Benner for his favorite Mencken quote, and this is what he delivered. Let us not forget that it is oratory, not logic, beauty, not sense. Think of the argument in it. Put it into the cold words of every day. The doctrine is simply this: that the Union soldiers who died at Gettysburg sacrificed their lives to the cause of self-determination. That government of the people, by the people, for the people should not perish from this earth. It is difficult to imagine anything more untrue. The Union soldiers in that battle actually fought against self-determination. It was the Confederates who fought for the right of their people to govern themselves. That was also H.L. Mencken. He's from Maryland. He just hates, he just hates feds. What can you say? Damn. Could you imagine us living here today in 2025 and, you know, like Tom Brokaw writing, actually, it was the union that was wrong. Could you imagine that?
They're not allowed to say that.
No, you can't. Can't say that. The Sage of Baltimore. Ain't y'all making... Yeah, you don't actually get to be a prominent figure in Baltimore these days if you say that.
So Gibbs had some thoughtful input there. I think that's his answer.
Gibbs says, be kind and giving, lead by example, push back against local tyrants, make decisions on something other than money, quality, culture, family, values. I mean, I agree, but the problem is that it's those people who don't do that, they're making their decisions, and their decisions are the ones you made. I want to destroy you and all of those things. It's like, okay, so now what? By the way, I'll happily call myself out when I say that we cannot share a country anymore. I know that that's a cop-out answer because the union's not breaking up tomorrow or next week. What are you going to do? I think it needs to happen. I think it will happen. I think it will eventually happen. I think the United States will go the way of the Soviet Union someday, but it's not today. I actually feel for people like Dave and Jonathan, and Justin and Brooke, all you guys, and Ryan. I'm not a parent. We're still looking for that girl from last week's bonus meme. We're still looking for her. Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah, just really quick. Just show people. Yeah.
What is this called?
Okay. All right.
Gay.
Yeah, we're still looking for her. That's the one, you guys. But I genuinely feel bad for you guys because I feel like that as a parent, there has to be a part of you that thinks, I really want to be the one to carry the burden of fixing this problem because I don't want my kids to have to deal with this. What a shame it would be for us to put the war off for another 20 years so that they have to fight it and we don't. What cowards we would be. So if it's got to be that way, then let's get to it so that they don't have to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not a parent? APP. Yeah, Lyle. Yeah. Join me and Lyle tomorrow night on Discord for Thursday Night Football. You guys, it's been a wild season already. What can I say? Thank you, Justin. I know you agree. If it's going to happen, I want it to happen while I'm of healthy fighting age so my kids don't have to see it. So that's why I ask people, what should be done? What can we do? What should we do so that they don't have to? It's too late for Iryna.
Too late.
Yeah, he said it. He said it. Yeah. Also, my son would be Justin, come on.
Loose cannon.
Good night, Lyle.
Hi, Lyle.
I haven't been able to see stuff. If you've subscribed on Twitch, thank you very much. Derek, I appreciate it. If you've sent in money, Ryan, thank you very much. I think we're getting close. We're still trying to raise money. Please like, share, subscribe, pound those links. Aaron, they might be, but we're gonna find something for you. We'll put you to work. Don't you worry.
Some clerical work, maybe.
Yeah. We'll find something. Everyone leave the cities and suburbs. Easiest single thing you can do. I agree completely. Justin, we're infinitesimally short. We're never not there, because as soon as the Kringle money's here, then we got to raise my rent. So we don't have enough.
What's coming first?
Yeah. Oh no, rent was the first. We're in trouble. It's bad. Could you imagine my landlord watching this thing and what's this Kringle stuff? Where's my goddamn money? So
what's that Kringle money?
I like how Aaron puts content in quotation marks in the advertisement.
He gets it.
Well, no, Justin, you're more than welcome to have made the donation, but also guilt trip people. Look, look at poor Dave. Dave knows that as soon as we hit $2,000 a month in subscribers, then everything after that goes to him. And he's in for the long haul. Look how long he's been sticking around.
Like 5 years. I know it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen, y'all. Just tears streaming down his face. So I completely agree with leaving the cities and the suburbs. But that comes back to the whole association thing, right? Because when you leave the city and you go to the town that's your new home, how are you going to keep it that way? Because we currently live in a system where you just can't say no to anybody, and you're a racist if you're walking up and down the street saying, hey, you get out of here. We don't like that around these parts. Now I'll see you in court, buddy. The problem, because we discussed the police earlier, there's this big movement right now, even amongst liberty-minded folks, that it's like, no. Look what the body cams showed us. The body cams didn't show us that all the police are a bunch of racist pigs. It actually showed us that they're up against a bunch of fucking monsters. And so let's just equip them to go hog wild on these pieces of shit. Hog wild, pun intended. And I can sympathize with that. But of course, the power they wield when Kamala Harris gets elected, guess who they're using it on, big boy? So when they have that monopoly on violence, they are stripping away our right to apply it as we see fit. Now, am I saying that we're bringing back the Klan? Of course not. But by God, if a community says these are the norms by which we live, and we don't want people here that don't obey that, they should have the right to make sure those people are unfucking welcome. Say whatever. Call me racist. It's like, if you're calling me racist by the thing I just said, then what are you saying about the other races and why they can't obey the fucking rules?
Ooh.
Thank you, Howard. I'm so glad Howard is here. When Howard came over from Path to Liberty, a few months ago, and Michael and the others, I was really worried that they're going to be like, whoa, this tack after hours stuff is kind of wild. But I'm so glad that they continue to join us. And of course, all of this is satire. I'm simply playing a character on TV. Yeah.
I'm a big asshole in real life. This is just.
Yeah, no, Dave doesn't even talk to me, you guys. He just sends me just vague glyphs and hieroglyphics and shit, and I have to figure out what he means. That's actually not even far off. Yeah. I go, Dave's having a bad day today. That sucks. You spelled clan wrong, Ryan. And I'm not saying that, by the way. Thank you so much, Justin.
Wow.
Dave and I have our selections where we've got to put in our order on Monday. They're air mailing this. Yeah, they're taking care of us. They're so y'all get all this out of y'all's system tonight, so because y'all gotta fucking behave next week.
Oh yeah,
when
it's basically a commercial for them.
Yeah, we're basically doing an ad. So because y'all just, tone
it down a little.
Yeah, like Ryan, come on.
Come on.
No, I think Ryan will be stoked because this is like, oh, I know them. Yeah. I know them. I go there. Yeah. Thank you, Justin. I'm glad you'll be on your best behavior. Does anyone have anything else to add? I'm over it. Don't embarrass me in front of my... No, Ryan, we're going to be good next week. We're going to enjoy our pastries and talk about how good they are. Mm-hmm. And yeah.
And hopefully continue to enjoy them the whole time.
Yeah, and no one's going to say any bad words on the show next week. And then they're going to be so stoked to get like the highlight reel of it. It's going to be so great. As long as Yankees can still sleep on the floor, we're good. Yes. I guess really quick, since Derek brought that up, I think I'm just going to go ahead and start the page for the 8th annual It's Too Late live show. Like in years past, I tried the theory of if you announce it too soon, then it kind of gets lost, and then you're like trying to remind people as the date gets closer. But like every year has been a different challenge. Sometimes there's been lots of people, sometimes there's been less people. Sometimes we charged more, sometimes we charged less. Sometimes we went to a restaurant. Sometimes we had barbecue. Sometimes there were kangaroos. And sometimes there were Jews. That rhymed. That's so cool.
Yeah, that's neat.
Yeah.
It's all true, too.
Yeah, it's like I totally wrote this, you guys. But I think this year I'll just post the dates and what we're doing like this month. And then people can, maybe we'll do something like where like the advance tickets will be cheaper. Like you can get a ticket anytime between now. By the way, all the tickets are non-refundable. Go kill yourself. But tickets will be available between now and like, Christmas, and you can get them for cheap. But then after January 1st, it's like,
because last minute stuff makes it hard to plan anything.
It does. And then budget. Everybody's leaving the Airbnb and I'm going to the barbecue place just stressing the fuck out. and you know what? And then everything's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. See the ruse and the Jews. Yeah.
Just the one. I think it was just the one.
Yeah. Aaron still is committed to coming, provided someone goes across the Mississippi his way and visits him. Oof. Can we please arrange someone to go visit Aaron sometime between now and May?
Draw straws and crowdfund it or something.
Yeah. I mean, it's not going to be me because I'm going to be homeless in like 3 weeks. Like one of y'all.
Your schedule's wide open.
How am I going to get there? Where am I going to live? Jesus. I go to Kansas.
Aaron's house.
Yeah, that's what Aaron wants.
Aaron, I'm here. Hope you got an extra room.
Gary, I told Aaron that you were gonna be the guy. That you were gonna come visit him. And I'm not sure if he's saying that counts. I feel like there's some, I don't know, he resents you somehow. I think he wants you, he just wants to see you put in the effort to actually go across the river and come back and see him.
Yeah, that'd be weird.
Yeah. I'm not convinced there's anything west of that river.
I've never seen it.
I think all of you guys are just figments of my imagination going years on now.
Just in a room.
Yeah.
Drooling in the corner.
I go out to that Airbnb and the people that like it's just their house, they live there and they're like, oh, that man's on the deck again,
he's been talking for hours.
Talking about some show. hey, look that up. And then they go, oh my God, that's a real show, All right. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. That was a lot. A lot going on.
Yeah. There's a lot going on.
Busy
I
day.
think we're just gonna do sports shows from now on, or shows where I talk about something I wrote. Since nobody reads, I just read it to you.
I think there's a market for that. Yeah.
I should have done the Fresca challenge, then I wouldn't have had to go to the hospital and get my stomach pumped.
You probably hate Fresca now.
I mean, maybe, but at least Fresca's like 0
Light and airy.
calories.
Is it?
You know. Yeah. I mean, it's got a bunch of God knows what in it, but you know, Peepsies. Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do enjoy the lectures, says Brooke. Well, thank you. We were gonna do fucking HL Mink, and then y'all just kept shooting people and stabbing them. It's ridiculous. Y'all doing it. just y'all. I don't know. Maybe we'll revisit it next week, or maybe we do a. I don't know. Maybe I feel like maybe it should alternate. There'll be sports, and then there'll be Uncle Alan, and then there'll be sports, and then there'll be Uncle Alan. What I need is someone to just hire me and give me money. I keep on writing I'm on the front page of all these different organizations this week right now, and then they're like, "Oh, that's neat," and then I'm like, "Okay, well, I could do this for you all the time." No, we're good. Okay. Who's playing tomorrow night? Redskins, Packers, I think. Is that right, Ryan? Is it Green Bay, Washington tomorrow? Thursday night? Well, that slightly answers my question. Go Pack Go, I guess, is his way of saying. That's right, Alan. Tomorrow, Thursday night football is Redskins, Packers.
Wait, tomorrow? Oh, okay, yeah,
Thursday. Yeah, Thursday night football on Twitch is back tomorrow. Hell yeah.
Oh, is it? They keep putting it
Yeah.
on different services. I'm like, can I even watch these?
Yeah, I know, dude. We've talked about that. It's been ridiculous. There's like 11 different streaming services that are hosting at least one game this year. It's nuts. But that's free to watch, and we'll be watching it. You just join the Discord. Me and Lyle will be calling the game. I've been less racist this year, I feel.
Oh.
Lyle's been more violent. I've been less racist. He's been more violent. Kind of concerning.
We got Bills, Jets.
Oh, Jesus. The Jets.
They just lost to the Steelers, didn't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. 'Cause
Yeah.
of the whole...
Let me open the cookie real quick before we run out of time.
Oh, yeah.
Last second, get it in. This is going to determine whether or not we can go on as a civil society based on what this cookie says. Shit, get out of here. It is time to help a friend in need. Give your best.
That's almost fits. I don't know. I think, I'm trying to force it.
That's what she said.
A lot of innuendo just in this last 30 seconds.